don't be scared of trying a few things. Especially if you're young, don't be scared of, and again, failing. If you fail at something, don't use it that you're a failure in life, that you're not amount to nothing. Use it as, okay, I failed at that, but what can I do next time to improve on that failure?
Okay guys, hey, how you doing? This is Balaji and this is another Property Convos. Today I'm really excited because I've got my friend with me. His name is Ben. How you doing, Ben?
I'm very good, thank you. Appreciate you having me on. I'm looking forward to it.
It's a pleasure, man. I hope you appreciate the tunes. I thought I'd, make it a little bit jumpy for the young people.
Yeah, you gotta do, man. You got to have those music vibes. I love it. I thought it was really nice entrance for me to come on to and hear some tunes going. So yeah, man, always good.
Cool.
Love that.
Well, I'll turn it down a little bit, and how are you doing, mate? How's your day been? How's your weekend?
Yeah, it's been good. Had a nice weekend, to be fair. Had a bit of quite a productive one, to be fair. Got a load of stuff done. Can't remember all the stuff I was getting done. Had a few, like a networking event on Sunday. Caught up with a few bits that I ended up crashing on Thursday. Did too much work up until last week. Crashed on Thursday, and then had a super productive weekend. So it was pretty good. And then had a good day as well. Ticking off loads of tasks, getting stuff done. Mainly focused on personal branding today. So it's been a nice chilled day, to be fair. I like to keep it chilled but busy.
Chilled but busy. I like that.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah. How's your day been?
My day's been all right. I've had a full-on sort of day of meetings and work. So it's nice to sort of have some chill time and just, downtime. So I'm definitely enjoying that.
Love that.
I was going to say, it would be nice if you could tell us a little bit about yourself, and what you do, and what your background is, because I'm sure people would love to get to know you a little better.
Yeah, of course, man. So as you said, I'm Ben. I'm actually 22. My birthday's in a month, so if you want to send me I can do. 23 next month. I'm based in Manchester.
You got a big barbecue planned, yeah?
I think that's the only thing. I think that's the only thing you can have at the minute, to be fair. But we'll see if we're fully out of lockdown next month. But so to be honest with you, I don't really plan too much for my birthdays. I just kind of let it go with the flow. Obviously, this one's a bit harder to plan for due to certain circumstances.
Certain stuff,
of course.
Yeah.
But then a little bit of background about myself. So I used to be in the trade as a plasterer. Ended up quitting that. Ended up hating it. That's a long story. Loads of stuff went on, and ended up finding like Forex trading. And I read the book The Secret, and it kind of showed me a new kind of life and a new kind of meaning, and something else was out there. There was more to life than what I was kind of the route I was going down. So I explored that. Ended up going into work at retail for a year. So I'm currently actually working at Carphone Warehouse as a job. And then I was looking at all things like making money online. Any shiny penny. Any shiny penny that
you're gonna get it, right? Yeah.
I think I suffered a lot at the start of my journey. I suffered a lot with shiny penny syndrome, and that's for sure. I've kind of calmed it down a little bit now.
Yeah.
And kind of focused on one area, which then brings me on to property, because halfway through last year, a business partner now and my best mate kind of came to me they said, look, we can start a property business. And there's so many different avenues you can take. So we kind of started heavily looking into that. Obviously, it interested me because I've got background in property and it's something that I've always wanted to do. But as kind of the person to think, I didn't know what you did. I thought you just bought a house and then you kind of rented it out, basically. That's all the knowledge of property I kind of knew.
That you had, And
I didn't realise the amount of different opportunities or different paths that kind of you can lead down. So that's what I'm kind of doing at the minute.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. I mean, definitely want to get into some of the things that you're doing in property, but I just wanted to touch on something. So it's like, you're going to be 23, and in that description that you just given, it sounds like you've already had a pretty full career, mate. Like you've done a lot. It sounds like, right? You've done, it's impressive. It's impressive. Yeah.
I definitely tried a few things. Like going back into school, I never, like even leaving school, I thought I'd be as a sports person. I'd play sports, do sports. Got to year 11, decided I don't even know what, I don't want to do sports anymore. Then I chose media to do in college, chose media to do for 2 years. Did that, go to uni. Decided at the end of college, I didn't really want to go to uni, and then media was out of the path. And then, so I've done media, done loads of sports, and then I worked in a factory. We got made redundant from there. So like I went through like a whole thing of loads of seeing people lose a job, which was pretty sad. People been there for like 50 years. So it was quite understanding the fact of like, don't take things for granted, and it can get shut down in literally matters of months. And then went on to be a bench joiner, and then went on to be a plasterer, and then partly rendering as well. So yeah, I've definitely tried my part. And I think all I take it as is experiences. I think it's so important to understand that everything you do is not just a waste of time, and taking every bit from what I've learned in the past. So I can still do stuff around the house. I'm now doing my own podcast, so I can, my editing skills from media, my sports, I still like to keep fit and active. So I've took it all as experiences and building on myself as a person and growing into the person I kind of want to be, and using everything around me in that aspect. So yeah, I have tried my hand in a little bit of everything.
I mean, I was saying it as a good thing, right? You've got, a breadth of experience. Honestly, for someone, your age, you've experienced a lot, and you've experienced probably a lot of life, and you've got a lot of things that you can draw from, to the point where you're applying it to your own business. You're able to maybe use those transferable skills and apply them to really what you want to do. Whereas some people could work a whole career on one track and not really have the kind of breadth of even just the idea of the possibilities that are available to them that you have. And I think that's really cool,
Yeah, 100%. I definitely built my perspective. Like that's
the word I was looking for. Perspective.
Yeah, that's why I like speaking to so many different people, because I like to gain a broader perspective on life and what the meaning of it, and gather that off from a load of different people. And I think from the experience I've had, I've met so many different people from different backgrounds, different areas, how to approach different, like working in sales, how to approach different customers that come to you. Have no two customers that are the same. So it's about, I've learned, to be honest, at 23, I feel like I have learned a lot just from experiences. So yeah, I think I never really think of it like that until I talk about it. But yeah, I am blessed, and I'm quite lucky to have that experience. So yeah, it's good.
100%. So if we were to delve in, there's a lot, that you've said that if we have time, it would be great to delve into. But one of the things I'm really interested in is your property sort of experience and the strategies that you're doing in terms of property, because as you said, you're a fairly young guy, you're making a go of property. What strategies are you currently sort of involved in as far as property is concerned?
Yes, so currently, so like I say, I'm very new, very early on in my property journey in the business aspect. Obviously, I've got a little bit of background, but so I'm still learning, still approaching everything and changing ideas and learning from different sources. So I'm still trying to build up for what I'm really about. But the main idea of what I'm going down is more, so at the start actually, so going back to August last year, the first seminar we went to, we ended up doing the hands up, sit down, run to the front, run to the back, all this great fun, getting dead excited. You're going to be rich, you're going to be famous, you're going to do this. And obviously we fell into that trap, dead excited, two young lads ready to go into the property world. We signed up.
Did you pay money for? Oh, you signed up for it. Okay.
Yeah. We signed up. Not gonna say it was. I think it was about £1,000 each. Not too bad. It weren't.
That's not too bad. That's not too bad. Yeah, you could do worse.
You could do worse, and it didn't put us bankrupt, if you know what I mean. Break the bank, luckily. But it taught us. It didn't give us a nitty and gritty. It gave us like an overview and the kind of the mindset and the vision that we could create from that. So it was good, and so that pushed us on. And then we started off on like buy-to-lets. So we've always had the idea of buy-to-lets and going down the option of flips, and that's kind of eventually going down. We heard about service accommodation, rent to rent, and all the other little bits. So we kind of delved into it a little bit. We focused on that, and then we started looking at HMOs with our business partner's dad. There's a little bit of HMOs, right? So, and then we kind of focused on just, all right, we'll go buy-to-lets and do a little bit of deal sourcing, property sourcing, and because if we're going out actively looking for deals, if a deal doesn't work for us, we can always help someone else out and work with someone else to make that deal work and get it out there to someone. We thought, okay, that works hand in hand pretty well. And then as we came into lockdown, we had a couple of things going on just before we hit lockdown, as a few things going through, like an off-market deal, what we had actually through my work, which was pretty cool. Like you said, you can find deals anywhere. Didn't believe it at first. Didn't think, you won't be able to find these deals. And next minute, one pops up, because the more you talk about what you're doing, the more opportunities come to you. It's so true. It's so true. And then, so lockdown hit. So we were all about JVing. So all we thought about was your JV with someone else. And that was it. That's all you could do. And then as we got into that, we started learning about BRRR. So the buy, refurbish, refinance, rent, and then repeat. So we've learned about that, and that's kind of changed our business model again. And then realized that deal sourcing will help us build more of a cash pot, as well as running a sustainable and putting all our hard work into running a business, because we know it's not just how it's set out to be. Sometimes a lot of deal sourcing can get that name around it of it's the easiest way. It's the entry point into property. It's the easiest bit, and you can make loads out of it without having any money to go into it.
Yeah, but that's amazing. I mean, I just wanted to just pause for a second, because one of the things I've realized is when I'm doing these conversations, sometimes I assume that the people listening understand what all of these acronyms mean, right? So you've rattled off a bunch of. So what did you say? You said rent to rent. You said HMOs. You said deal sourcing. You said BRR, right? Like, I mean, would you mind just sort of in your own words breaking down what those things are? Imagine you were trying to get your friend into property, and how would you describe that?
Yeah, that's cool. I can totally understand that, because everyone's starting all those kind of acronyms and words thrown at you. It goes straight over your head, and you think, what's going on? So to give people an understanding and my view and what I've learned so far. Obviously, I'm no expert. I'm not trying to sell no course or anything.
His link is going to be at the end of this presentation. The link to his course. No, I'm joking.
All dropped from £97 today only. No, none of that funny business. But if we go back to, say, rent to rent. So rent to rent, I've not really dived into loads. I know the overview of is you can do it joint with many other strategies as well. So all the strategies I'll mention in a second, you can add rent to rent to it. So you can do rent to service accommodation or rent to buy to let. I'll just use them as an example. Where you rent a property off a landlord, and so you're giving them guaranteed rent. But you're running the whole property, so you're just giving them a hands off. They still own the investment, and it's still tied into them, and you're just giving them a guaranteed rent for running the whole show. Yeah, obviously there's a lot more into that, and you've got to make sure you do research, because there's a lot of things around it that you make sure you got to do professionally. And then with that as well, what you can do, because they own the property, you can actually have a lease option, which people like a lease option agreement, what people kind of dive into, apparently, which could be good through lockdown and post lockdown as well, is where you put like an option agreement attached to that, where you are looking to either have the option to buy it in X amount of years for an X amount of money, and you offer that to the landlord. If they accept, obviously you rent out, you run the property for them whilst they're sat back doing nothing. And then at the end of maybe like 5 years, you might be able to buy it kind of option. So that's kind of that area. Service accommodation, so which is SA, which you'll probably find more in Airbnb. I think most people would have heard of Airbnb. So you have an apartment, you try and get more of like a one bed and try and change it into two, add like value onto it, and then you're renting that out onto a short-term basis. Again, I've not done much into it, but it's like where you either set it out for people who are going to be staying over the weekend, or who are going to be staying like businessmen over a week, or contract people, or people there for like a holiday kind of weekend away. So that's service accommodation. HMO is house of multiple occupation. So that's where they have obviously like 3, 4 or 5 plus bedrooms, where you rent out each individually to either students or business or young professionals kind of thing. So that's HMOs, and the cash flow is insane in that one. But again, there's a lot of rules and regulations and a lot of building work to go into that. And then BRRR, which is my favorite, which stands for buy, refurbish, refinance, rent. And then you add another R because you can repeat it, because it's a step where you buy it, then you're buying it trying to below market value, then you probably strip it back, refurb it to a better standard, bring it up to market value, and past market value. So then you can bring it back and refinance at 75%, which will then bring 75% out the money, out the house, or the new value. Obviously, a lot to take in, again, doing your own research. And then you can put the stuff that you brought out of that property, that 75% of the new price, pay whatever back you need to if you've used an investor or if you've used bridging finance, pay that back, and then whatever you're left with, or if you've got money left in the deal, then you can put that back into the next deal. And that's why the whole point of repeat. And that's kind of it. Or you got flips, is where you buy a house and then you just add in value and flipping it and selling it
and
on
flip
for
it,
yeah, that's that one. And then buy to lets is just your standard. You buy a house, you might do a little lick of paint, and then you're letting it straight out again. So I hope that kind of gives a little bit of a
wow. Give this man a round of applause. You've literally just reeled off a bunch of strategies. You clearly know your stuff,
well,
and you
I'm
know.
just kind of glad that I think that what I've learned is kind of
it's sticking,
just
right?
kind of shows I'm learning, which is good. I'm glad I'm learning. Happy
But
days.
it's really cool because one of the things which even before I got into the whole property game, you kind of fall into this trap of thinking there's only one way that I can do property or I can make money from property investing, and I don't fit into that category right now, so I can't do it. So for example, a lot of people are saying, or most people, you know, from the outside looking in, you'll think, oh, I've got to raise X amount for a deposit, and then I've got to put the money down, and then I've got to buy it through these traditional measures, and I just, you know, I can't do it, stamp duty, or, you know, the deposit's too high, or whatever it is. Whereas, you know, from what you've just described there were so many strategies where I think anybody at any point in their like maturity or stage of their journey, like there's a place you can slot in and, you know, start doing stuff, you know. So that's really, really encouraging. But I wanted to maybe ask a little bit more of a deep question, and like, where are you in your journey, and like, what have you managed to do so far, or, you know, where you are?
In terms of like property wise? Yeah. So in terms of property, so we've not actually, so obviously I forgot to mention about deal sourcing side is where people go out onto, will do all the kind of the hard work for an investor. So they'll go out and find the property, work with estate agents, build relationships with builders, build relationships with solicitors, mortgage brokers, and all that. And then they'll go out and source a deal below market value and something that's going to give a nice return on the strategy the investor wants and to their kind of requirements of like a bespoke sourcing, or just like your normal, like where you'd put it onto, I've forgotten the word, where you put it onto a mailing list, and then you send them out that way and you can earn X amount off that. So in the sense of that, we have not done any deals ourselves. Again, I'm very early into our journey, and the property sourcing's come up a lot more recently. That's kind of like our main focus, because we want to get into property in that sense and build our cash flow up, because our main goal is to work alongside investors. And I think our point is now is just building up our knowledge, building up working and networking with different people, which I have done over this due course, which I'm sure we'll get into as well shortly.
Your Instagram's been popping off, hasn't it?
Yeah,
your social media,
it's been good. I've enjoyed it. That's one thing. And I think building relationships, again, it's not all about, I think, what people don't need to worry about. It's just, obviously the deals are the main part, but again, it's all the stuff going around it. You need to set up your business. You need to figure out what compliance you need, how to run a business, what makes a good deal, what people you need to work with, and then start building up those relationships, start building up your personal brand and credibility. Because why would someone work with you? You need to ask yourself that. Why would someone work with you? And I think that's where I'm in the process. And then I'm speaking with family members and speaking with other people and just getting it out there, just speaking about what I'm doing and trying to getting people are interested in. And I think what we're doing, that's where we're kind of at our stage in the moment. Constantly looking at deals, appraising deals. We just need to, obviously we've been a bit stuck. It kind of took off because I didn't mention before that we started in August, but things slowed down. We both worked in retail at the time and still do. And the business partner's moving to a letting agents, which is pretty cool. So we're getting both sides as well. We're getting the letting agents, and then you're getting me, who's going to be going back into the trade as a renderer. So I'm going down that path. And it slowed down, so we didn't pick up till actually January, the start of this year, and we went on to lockdown. So
Yeah.
we've not really been able to go out and get deals. I don't want to be the kind of guy who gets a link off Rightmove and then just sends it out there. Look, I want to go to the property. I want to be able to look at the property and make sure if I'm sending this deal out to anyone, I want to make sure I'm putting in the right price for it. If it's got any faults or any place wrong, and this is where I'm glad I've kind of got a bit of experience in the trade that I can go there and have. You don't need it. It's obviously it's helpful for me. It's just as long as you just have to watch videos on YouTube about what to look out for when looking around a house, getting a checklist together.
Yeah.
But again, there's so many different entry points. But I think why we get asked a lot, like, how come you're so young, but you're going down this kind of option, is because I like this option. I like the BRR model, and I like the deal sourcing aspect. I want to be an investor myself.
Yeah.
But I like that option. Obviously, rent to rent, you can get into it with a little bit less money. And
okay, that's interesting. So is it a case that people are advising you to go down on the rent to rent route because you're young? Is that what people are saying?
No, I wouldn't say I'm saying that. I'd say you see a lot more people my age or people going into them kind of routes as an easier entry point. And I think there's that's if you want to get to replace your income. That's more of a replace. As much as I want to replace my income, I'm doing this full time. That is more if you want to replace your income. I'm thinking more long term as well as, I mean, everything for the long term. I think with anything you do, even deal sourcing, you've got to be in the game for the long term.
For the long term,
nothing's the short term. And if you have that perspective of, okay, I want to build up my cash and I want to do this for the long term, and you're thinking about sustainable business and working on keeping relationships built, and you want that being an everlasting relationship with someone. You're not just doing this for a quick buck, or you're not just doing this for your own pleasure. You're doing this because you want to help other people and then grow your own business and your own brand and kind of go down that route. But I like the whole buying. I like the idea that you can then refurb. I can't wait to get involved in that. I like getting my hands dirty anyway.
Yeah.
And then, it's just a style I like. And I think it's a great idea for helping someone if they're wanting to build their portfolio. It's a great way of recycling cash and the good deals to be looking at. And there's so many different places to go off market. And there's so many different aspects that you've got to think about. Like it sounds so much, and there is a lot going on. Like when I explain it to people, like family members who still don't understand what the hell I'm doing.
Yeah.
But they're slowly, it's so much.
They're slowly getting it,
first, but they're slowly getting it. But it's just, understanding
proof is
always
in the pudding for family members, right? It's always when they see a bit of results here and there, they'll be like, okay, I get it now, kind of. That's the main thing. I think that's what, it's just that first one. I think it's that first, you got a massive step there, and then once you get past that first step and up onto it, the steps just get a little bit smaller and easier each time. Again, we're not expected to be an easy journey, but we know it's just that first one. Once you get past that first one, but we know we're working our way to get there. And then again, in this time, we're looking at all diversifying our options and finding out how important it is to, okay, property is like our kind of fundamental, but where can we put our own personal money into different fund accounts, different options? And there's so much things I'm researching, reading about, not just within property, about thinking about how can I compound my investments to gain more wealth and to make it a better, I don't know how to be, kind of come out better in the future, that I get it. You get
saving and putting my money in different places will pay off in the future, and many sacrifices benefit. But I understand that I have to take some sacrifices and miss out on a few things to better my future. But what I'm making sure I'm doing is that I'm enjoying what I'm doing.
That's it.
Now, if you know what I mean. I'm not just doing it, I hate what I'm doing, and then I've missed out on all my young years. Then all the sacrifices I've made are worth it. But I want to I'm enjoying everything I'm doing now, and the sacrifices I'm making, I'm still enjoying what I'm doing. So I know that my future is going to be bright, and I enjoy what I do now. I think that's so important. And I think I'm a big advocate of that. Enjoy what you're doing now, as well as thinking about building your wealth for the future. 100%. It's all about thinking about your future, but enjoying the moment.
That's amazing, man. I definitely, from what you're saying, you're very passionate about what you're talking about. You're really excited, and it really comes across. And I can tell that, you are working towards something that's going to be really, really good for your future. And the fact that you've chosen the BRRR instead of, other strategies, you've made that conscious decision to do something that, you feel that you can add loads of value to, you're good at, and that you really like. And I think that's going to work out for you. And that's one of the good things I like about, this, I guess, show, because really it's all about, you know, talking to people who are at various stages in their journey. And I think, you know, when somebody looks back and watches this show, they'll be able to tell like, oh, wow. So, you know, he's having a go at it. You know, he might not have achieved all of the things that he wants to achieve yet, but he's making steps along the way. And that's an encouragement for someone, right? That's an encouragement for anyone. It's definitely an encouragement, you know, to me, listening, and it's a motivator. And speaking of motivation, I guess it's a nice little segue into, you know, what motivates you. I know there's a couple of things that I know that you do to motivate yourself and sort of other people, but you mentioned a book earlier on, right? You mentioned The Secret. Now, that's a book that I've read, and I know it's a book that a lot of entrepreneurs and just people who go on to achieve like incredible, almost impossible things have, you know, read. Like, what was it about that book, and, you know, what sort of things have you taken a hold of and sort of applied to what you're doing from The Secret? I'd love to know.
Yeah, of course. I think starting off, I think The Secret is a fantastic book. I think it changed my perspective and changed what I was doing. I kind of got it when I was kind of going through a hard time, didn't know what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
Didn't really, and plus I'd never read a book in my life before this as well. So this is the first book I've ever read.
It's a good book to read as a first book, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, it was an easy read. It's a nice read.
Yeah.
Its layout is great. But I think first of all, what I'm going to say is you've got to take it with a pinch of salt. And when you're reading it, understanding, don't take it lit as it says it. You've got to have the right perspective to think about, okay, what am I doing to implement this to then, better myself? And it's understanding that, okay, the more it's that like attracts like, and I've always been I don't go a day without smiling. Again, what I said back at the start, like what motivates me. Again, I'm going to say, I'm going to be honest, not every day I wake up super motivated and super thingy. It's not, no one does, you know what I mean? So if people think that, if they think they get that impression from seeing people on social media that, every day is easy, it's not. I have my motivation because I have that from The Secret about the visualization and the positive affirmations about what I want to achieve. So I know when I am getting up in the morning and what I'm working on is because I'm working towards who I want to be and what I want to achieve. But if you're not motivated in the morning, it's not a bad thing. We're not always all motivated. But what's important is about having something like a vision board or something that you know you're going towards.
I love vision boards, mate.
Yeah, and you have something to then motivate you and get to where you need to be, and then that gets you up. You want something to get you up in the morning, and luckily I do. Sometimes I'm tired, sometimes it's hard work, but I get up and I want to do what I'm doing, so which is great. But back to The Secret, kind of what I got out of that and why. And then once I've read it, the more I hear about it anywhere, like Conor McGregor talks about it, so many famous people talk about it, you read it in so many books, but in different contexts, it's all about that. I think visualization is the main one. And then just like attracts like, again, going back to what I was saying a minute ago about being positive, being happy. When I've noticed it as well, when people are very negative, very down and always just slumped and everything's hard work okay, I understand that a lot of people are going through hard times in their life, and I understand that and respect that. But if you carry on being always sad, upset, angry, you'll start attracting these things around you. You always attract negativity around you, and nothing ends up welcoming like kind of good. But the more you're happy, the more positive, the more you keep your chest up to the sky, you feel better within yourself. And if you put a smile on your face, it's more than likely going to make the next person smile, and smiling at someone brings that positivity back. Some people might look at you and think you're an idiot. I've had that before, but who cares? I'll see you right past that. As long as I'm happy, I don't care what anyone else thinks. I know that it's helping me, and I'd rather attract positivity in my life, even when I am going through a tough situation. So it kind of brought me out of that and kind of showed me a new kind of thinking and interest. And I've gone on to read 8 or 9 books. I've got so many books here that I keep buying books. I don't have time to read them half the time, but I just love it. The knowledge that some of them hold. And I recommend that book massively. I could talk about that book all day.
No, that's a great book. Amazing. I mean, and you know, I like to fill myself with knowledge. I'm not the best sort of reader, but I do audiobooks. So I think I did The Secret via audiobook. But it's interesting you talk about the whole like attracts like, you know, and you mentioned the point earlier on when we were talking about sort of putting yourself out there. And once you put yourself out there on certain things, things begin to come to you. So I've definitely experienced that, when I got a little bit more open about talking, about what I'm doing in property and just letting people know, or sort of not sort of hiding it, things begin to happen. People begin to see it. And you can't even sort of almost predict how things are going to happen, but somebody will just message you, or something might happen that you never kind of saw happening, and it's like, wow, where did that all come from? And I kind of liken it to frequencies and antennas, right? So all of these things are out there, but it's a matter of what you tune your antenna to pick up. So you were talking about when you're focusing on negative, and once you kind of are in that kind of zone, everything becomes a downer, everything negative, because for some reason your antenna is just tuned in perpetually, like, to just negative frequencies. And how people just say, oh, you're just having a bad day, aren't you? Because one thing happens, the next thing happens. And whereas the same things could occur, but if you have a positive outlook and you've got your antenna tuned to a positive frequency, somehow it's not that you don't get affected by things, but the positive things begin to come out at you more, and you just kind of tune into those. And I definitely think it's something that you have to intentionally do. And I like the fact that you mentioned your vision board and affirmation. And I wonder if you could tell me, like, one of your affirmations that you repeat, or one thing that's on your vision board.
So the one thing that's on my, like, in affirmation wise, I just tell myself, I am good, I am great, and I am happy. I always tell that myself, I'm happy and I'm going to do well. And I think that's so important about keeping yourself in a positive state of mind, and about telling that even though you are happy, it's about telling that you do feel good, you are happy, and you are going to do well. And I think it's just repeating of that. There's some others that sometimes they change, but I kind of stick with the same one, doing it that way. And just that's the most important to me, is happiness. So I want to be happy for the rest of my life. So I know that I even did a post about it today, about Muhammad Ali talking about positive affirmations and putting it out there. Once I can't exactly remember the quote what he said, but it's about that, once that repetitiveness of affirmations will make it like become something that's sustainable, or it'll be like a thing that always happens, which is fantastic.
That's amazing.
On my vision board, I just have obviously the freedom aspect, but I want to be on stages. I want to have my own podcast show of, like, sat in a room. And when just kind of going back off track, just a little bit about what you just said before about tuning that antenna, and then those kind of good things come to you, and how it attracts things like this. I wrote down on one of my goals, which again, I'm going to go back to the secret in a second of what it kind of comes back to as well. I wrote down one of my goals about being able to feature on another podcast, and that was a month ago. And how I'm super grateful for you being out, then you popping up, asking me for the opportunity to come on your podcast. So the gratefulness and the gratitude I have towards that, which then comes back to the secret, because the secret is that you should be grateful, and gratitude is so important, about being grateful for everything that you have, having a house, having a roof over your head, being able to eat, sleep, drink water, breathe every day. It's so important, just even the little things in life to be grateful for is how you progress yourself through the day. And again, I'm super grateful for you even giving me the opportunity to come on here, because that's one of my goals ticked off, which is crazy for me. I didn't expect it. And
well, there you go.
It's expecting the unexpected. Yeah, honestly, you're doing it's great. I think it's what I find amazing about it. I think what's a really good setup of what you're doing is because you're doing it where it doesn't matter what background you've got, where you are in your journey, what you have to offer. No, like, you didn't know who I was really. We had a conversation prior, and you've seen it on Instagram, but you don't know what the person holds, but you're still happy to get them on and share journey, because you don't know who and what they hold and what people can share. So I think it's amazing what you're doing in the sense of the property convos and what you're kind of styling it about. I think it's great. I think it's
I'm
awesome.
blushing, mate. I'm blushing. You're making me
I like
blush.
to make people blush.
No, I appreciate that.
No,
It's really...
seriously. It's all part. I think again, it's just building it's growing with each other. I think that's the whole point of the self-discovery, self-development journey I'm on, and it's who I'm connecting with and who I want to attract into my kind of journey, and why I want to speak to people like yourselves. And again, why I started my own podcast of people who I want to speak to, and I'm 100% having yourself on it, as we spoke about in the past.
Look forward to that.
I just want people to talk to, connect with, who are like-minded, and then share inspiring stories and share people's kind of, because that's kind of what motivates me. Find something that motivates yourself. Again, I love listening to property podcasts, so I didn't think I need to do a property podcast. So I based it off something that I love listening to, I love putting out there, and I love, again, branching my whole network and net worth around I've got so many different connections in so many different areas and backgrounds now. It's crazy. I've got so many people to talk to about different situations, different upbringings, different life, different businesses, different past, different perspectives. I go back to that perspective thing again about just gaining a more of a bigger perspective on life and what other people's views, and just kind of building my own and living like a humble but grateful, and just using every experience I take on as the best experience I can have, and just being great gratitude. Again, read the book and you'll find out how much gratitude.
I've read it, mate, but I hope everybody watching this does get a chance to read it. No, that's really, really cool, man. Just hearing you talk, you're exuding that passion, and I can just see that you're going to motivate and really empower a lot of people. And one of the things when we spoke, I'm pretty sure of it. One of the things that when we spoke about earlier, What is really good about what you do is you're kind of working with a group of like-minded people, similar age, I guess, young people, about bettering themselves, empowering themselves, and, learning and becoming their best selves. And, can you just let us know a little bit about that? And, one of the things I find really, really interesting and commendable, you're part of a group that meets very early in the morning.
Yeah, the 5 a.m. club.
5 a.m. club. Yeah, there you go.
Amazing idea. So I get onto the networking parts and what kind of groups I'm involved in. So at the start, so them two are the ones that I've joined later on, but it all kind of started from a guy called Aaron Knightley, called Knightley Investments on Instagram. I don't know if you've checked him out, but if you haven't, people listening to him, check him out. Unbelievable guy. He's building up such a great network. We're all in started off with 6 of us in a chat, and then it's grown to 29, and then he's having 50 people on a Friday night Zoom at 4 o'clock till 5:30 with so many different guests from different backgrounds, learning so much. We had different challenges, like one to keep an hour of fitness every day, which I ended up smashing a half marathon in that. So I actually came into lockdown, never done a 5K in my life, did a 5K, now I'm aiming for 5K under 20 minutes, nearly done that, done 10K, 15K, and now I've just done a half marathon. So being a part of a group like that just pushed me to whole new levels. I actually won a book from him as well, which I was super grateful for, because he did another challenge about just being productive, putting it on your story, tagging him, and I ended up being the winner of that, and I won a book. So that was pretty cool, all about investing. We talk about investing, we talk about trading, we talk about property, we talk about investors, we talk about so many different things, and I'm just learning and so grateful for being a part of a group of so many different people and backgrounds. And I've just connected with so many like-minded people again. So that was the start of it. And that's kind of how I grew into, I need to get into more of these groups and connect with more and more people. That's when the Join the 5 a.m. club came about. I joined that, and it's a group where we actually just did an Instagram live not too long ago.
Right.
And again, it's about stepping out of this comfort zone. Again, I'm a big advocate of stepping out of the comfort zone. I've done so many things to step myself out of the comfort zone. Even one of them shaved my head, even though we're in lockdown, but I never knew what I thought I'd look like with no hair. And I went down straight to think, I did that. It's just another part of it. But back to the 5 a.m.
You take a picture?
Club. Yeah, I did. That's on my Instagram as well. That was I don't look. I thought I looked all right as well. It's slowly growing back now, so I might shave it off again. I don't know. But I'm just happy it looked all right though. So which is a good thing. But with the 5 a.m. club, it kind of gets. What I found, it gets you up 5 o'clock in the morning, because you have something to get up for. It's even better. Yeah. I was up, and you've got some amazing guests taking loads of notes. I even got sent a little notepad out, and by 12 o'clock, I've ticked off so many things because I just put my phone down. I don't need to speak to anyone. Not many people are active as much. Yeah. And I get my stuff done. Half of it's done by 12. I can either catch up, get ahead of myself, or chill out a bit more in the later afternoon, which is
Yeah.
great. But
That's
again,
amazing.
it's about managing your time, and again, networking with loads of different people.
Yeah.
And then just getting onto the final part. I know you kind of mentioned that the first thing about networking with like-minded people around my age or new and looking to get into property or investing. So two people a girl called Charlie and a lad called Donovan, who kind of came together, made a group chat on Instagram, said, look, we want to get young people. We don't really have any place to go for young people to connect with. And so we all joined an Instagram. There was 20 of us. It kind of grew a bit further. So we ended up making a Telegram group chat, which is now at like 62 members, which is pretty cool. And it's been
growing,
it's been a month now, I think.
Only a month? That's impressive.
It's pretty cool. And then because of that, I thought, right, there's something we can do here. Obviously getting the idea from like the other accountability group, the other joining Fire Haven Club. What can we do with this? Right, so I got two of the lads from Premium Property. I don't know if you've heard of them too. They're doing very well, and they're great. Them two are great lads, and really check them out, the top lads. And then my business partner, I said, let's get all together and let's make this into an event. What we can do. So we got onto a Zoom call with them, and then we decided, right, every Sunday we'll do a Zoom call with new and young people, and then people with the Zoom calls, anyone can get involved. So we've had people at different kind of levels coming in. We had like 24 on the first time, just introducing ourselves within the group, getting to know each other. So there was no guest. And then we had a 16-year-old lad on, which was pretty cool, but he's done a few bits, wrote his own book and that. So that was really interesting. We had like 30 people on that. And then the next week, yesterday, we had another one, which we had about 25 people with Zoom properties, which was great, loads of knowledge. So again, I think it's just about having a place for young and new people to come and share their experiences, help each other. And we want to create that warm, welcoming feeling of, we want you to be able to answer any questions. We're not feeling stupid, because I know how it feels to go into a networking event or a group where you're the youngest there, or you've got so many people with so much knowledge. If you say something and you sound a bit
people
silly,
can prejudge you, innit?
You just don't want to sound like you don't want to sound stupid in a sense, even though it probably won't be a stupid question, because no question is a silly question.
Exactly.
And that's what we're trying to get out there, that you can ask anything. It's an open, it's a warm, no one's judging. And we just want people to enjoy, share the ideas, and just kind of grow together and make this into something special, something big, and something where we can have a physical event, maybe 1 or 2 meetups a year, so we can get all them together and just share each other, meet each other, and kind of grow together in there, and just be there for support, help each other. And then we've been setting like tasks to do as well each week. So the first week was, what was the first week? I can't remember what the first week was, but then we set like one to have a go, if you're at the stage, to ring estate agents, if you're at that level, or if you're thinking about it, ring an estate agent outside of your investment area just for practice, just so you can step out of your comfort zone and try and talk to it how you would to an estate agent, and try and build up a relationship, and just trying to build yourself if you're at that point, and if you were ready, if you wanted to get involved, you didn't have to. And then this week is about putting a post out about being young in property or investing. What are the benefits? What have you found? What are the problems you faced? And we're trying to get people involved, interacting, and just stepping out of the comfort zones, and just trying to help people build and be more confident. And again, with doing that, hosting a Zoom event is stepping out of my comfort zone again, doing something that I want to do in the future. So it's all part of,
it's all training, isn't it?
It's all opportunity. And I think living off taking every opportunity that you're faced with. And now I'm an ambassador of the 5 a.m. club, which is great, so I can give free trials out for that if people want to get involved, which is fantastic. And then I'm in there's an opportunity everywhere, and there's opportunity endless. Now I've had the opportunity to go on this podcast. I had someone, after you asked, I've had one to set up again in a month's time to go on their podcast. So it's all just kind of coming into place. And this all part of the vision. Again,
it's all falling into place, isn't it? That's nice. Amazing, man. Nice. I'm really happy, and I'm I guess proud that in some way I've been part of you fulfilling your vision, so I'm really happy about that.
Massively.
Man, this has been a great chat. I know we don't have too much time left, but I'm sure there's a lot of value that people are going to have from just listening and watching to this. But one of the things I do like to do is ask a few, let's say, quick pop quiz questions.
Go for it.
A bit of fun. So the theme originally for the show was, it was a kind of a carpool sort of situation. So there was a car theme to it, right? So based on that, my question to you is, what is your dream car and why?
Ooh, nice. I'm going to go straight away. Quickest answer, it always has been, is a G-Wagon.
Okay.
Yeah, a G-Wagon. I don't know. I can't even give you a reason why I want a G-Wagon, but I've always, since probably the last 5-10 years, I've looked at the coolest car. I think
I've seen all the rap videos.
Yeah, yeah, probably because I listen to all Eminem. I used to love old school hip hop rap stuff, so that could be my thing. But I think with cars, it's always changing. I can't fix myself on a car. Apart from the G-Wagon has only been the only car that I've ever kind of always had in my vision. Whereas cars, I look at a new car, like a shiny penny again. That car's nice. That car's nice. Yeah. To give you the quickest answer,
I hope the G-Wagon's on your vision board. It is a good car. Then next one. So speaking of property and business and entrepreneurship, what is your tool kit, right? So what kind of tools do you use to run your business and to operate?
Ooh, nice. So through lockdown, FaceTime has been an absolute lifesaver, obviously with my business partner. So that's been a massive tool. Canva for my posts and Instagram.
Canva's a good tool, that. Yeah.
Game changer.
Obviously, for real.
Rightmove. I use Trello for organization.
Love a bit of Trello,
calendar. My diary. I never thought I'd have a diary in my life.
Got a bit of pen and paper. Yeah.
Pen and paper, yeah. But no, and then just spreadsheets, really. And analyzing deals, spreadsheets, and just keeping everything again, I'm still learning. Business is very new to me, so trying to figure out where to put stuff, keeping organized, keeping on top of my stuff, post-it notes everywhere. And it's just, I think I'm still learning, still finding different ways, but I think my tool is always improving. I'm always adding different tools to my toolbox and trying to grow them and work on different things. I'm not always consistent, but I try to be. And I think just organization tools, spreadsheets, being able to contact other people, and that's my main go-to at the minute.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Then next question. Aside from listening to podcasts and stuff like that, so in Spotify or whatever tool that you use for your music, what are you listening to?
What am I listening to? Nice. So, a big go-to one. I don't know if you've heard of the playlist on Spotify, but it's called Lo-Fi Beats.
Oh my goodness. Oh, that is pretty good. That's pretty good.
And whilst I'm doing work, if I want some background tunes, I can't put the song on that I know because I'll end up singing away to it.
I'm the same. Yeah.
Lo-Fi Beats are definitely the one. I love them. And if it was going to tunes, I love Anderson .Paak, Loyal Kana, Georgia Smith.
Got a bit of lo-fi in the background going on here.
Yes.
There you go. Just gets you in the zone, doesn't it? Sorry, it's just, you were saying Anderson .Paak.
I love that. And I think with the lo-fi beats, it's just nice. It chills. I put it on my story actually yesterday, and loads of people replied to me saying, I love that. Love that album. It chills me out. It's sick to listen to when I'm doing work, but it's a really good set of beats, and it's just nice. It doesn't distract you. It's just nicely flowing. I love it. But as I was saying, so I don't know if you've heard of Anderson .Paak.
I have heard of Anderson .Paak. I did.
I went to one of his concerts, gigs, whatever you call them. It was like a party. I've never been to anything like it, and that was crazy. One of my favourites.
Oh wow! I would love to go to Anderson. Where was that? In up north or?
Oh, that was it's in Manchester. That it was at the, I can't remember where it was, what venue it was. It was somewhere we don't normally go. It was it's a good one. That I'll have to find out. It's not good when you can't remember the venue, but the show was all.
The show must have been good.
Yeah, the show was unreal. I would go relive that moment any day. And if anyone wants to check Anderson .Paak out, go on YouTube and type in Anderson .Paak Tiny Desk and watch that, because it's the best thing you'll ever watch.
Okay, and it's Anderson
if you like it,
right?
That's the one. That's if you like it. You might hate it.
No,
don't give me
I'm sure.
For that.
I challenge anybody not to like Anderson .Paak. But all right, cool. Thanks for that. Then I guess one last question. So anybody who is looking to start their property journey or business journey in general at sort of your age, what advice and tips would you give them right now?
Oh, that's a very good question. So I think mainly trying to find something that suits you and that you're going to like. I think understanding that is very important. I think if you use property as an example, if going into property business, understanding everything around it. And if you go into any seminars, doing any courses, going on to any coaching, do your due diligence. Make sure the person you go into is doing something in the world of property, and making sure that you are 100% certain. If you was to go there, understand that half the time it is a sales pitch, and don't get caught in the trap. If you want to go for it, I'm not saying don't. I'm just saying be cautious and understand about what is the course you're going to go. Is it going to benefit you? Because there's loads of free content out there to learn. But obviously, if you have a mentor, it is more structured. So I think just doing your due diligence, understanding what you're passionate about, and finding something that you're going to enjoy the most. Obviously, don't be scared of trying a few things. Especially if you're young, don't be scared of, and again, failing. If you fail at something, don't use it that you're a failure in life, that you not amount to nothing. Use it as, okay, I failed at that, but what can I do next time to improve on that failure? And it's always about building up yourself. And I think just having a perspective and just don't rush into anything. Understand that everything costs money. And don't believe anyone says that you can get into anything for free. Like you can start into property with no money. It's impossible. So it's more, you've got to have at least a little bit of money to get started. Yeah. So understanding every aspect, just researching, do loads of research, audio like books, audio books, podcasts, YouTube. There's seminars, join Instagram lives, join networking events, grow your network, connect with people who are in your field, talk to everyone you can, and don't be afraid to ask questions. Don't be afraid to be naive. Don't be scared, and always be honest and transparent with everything you're doing. Don't say you've got something that you don't. Just say what you're doing that you have, because people respect and want to help you if you're just honest and transparent in everything that you're doing. So and if anyone wants to reach out, I'm happy to share any advice to the best of my knowledge. Of course, I'm no expert, like I've said, but I'm happy to help out people. That's what I'm kind of set out to do at the minute, where I'm at in my journey. As I said on a podcast what's coming out tomorrow, is I'm here for support. I'm here for people where I was at your stage a year ago, about trying to figure out what I wanted to do and where I really wanted to go. So use me as someone who, it's all about finding that next step. Who's that person that I need to get to next? Because it's all about having your long-term goal, but breaking that long-term goal and finding out how do you get to each part and what tasks I need to do. Goal. And and who's the people who are at that kind of next stage of where I need to get to. And that might be me. That might be someone like Samuel Leeds. Obviously, there's a lot of things going on with Samuel Leeds, but I won't go into that.
I never said anything. You did. Mate, are you sure you haven't got a mentorship course or like a program that you want people to go on? You're going off there, mate.
Yeah. No, I got nothing.
Might want to set one up.
I think coaching and something I'd love to go down in further in my line. I'm nowhere near that kind of stage yet, but I'm just here to give what I can now, and I'm learning so much, and I'm happy and that's to give back. You've got a lot to give, mate. A lot of value. I hope so, and I think I just like helping people. I just want people to grow with me, and I'll try and get back to people as quick as I can. I end up getting lost in messages. I end up typing too long, and it's trying to balance it. Being super busy, I love talking to people, but you're trying to do your own work and then balance it with trying to network as well. There's a lot going on, and understanding everything takes time. Especially if I can advise anything to anyone starting out, think of it in the long term, and it takes time. It really does take time to do everything, and understand that you kind of have to put the work in to get results. But go for it. Don't be scared. Don't be scared to step out your comfort zone and give it a go. Massive.
No worries, mate. And speaking of time, I think we're out of time now. But dude, this has been really, really, really great having you on. I'm sure anybody who listens to this is going to get loads of value. Just before we go, you talked about, you know, you like people getting in touch with you and you look happy to help out. Where can someone get in touch with you? What are your social media handles, if you don't mind sharing?
No, of course not. So on Instagram, where you probably catch me best is Ben, so Ben, and then Garbutt, so Garb, so B for Ben, U, and then double T, and then underscore. And that's just on Instagram. If you want to check out my podcast, obviously, if you don't mind me dropping that as well.
Of course, feel free, mate.
It's at Inspire the Nation. So that's on Apple Podcasts and all the rest.
By the way.
Yeah, thank you. And then we're on Instagram as well at Inspire the Nation _. But yeah, Ben Garbutt _ is the best place to catch me and follow my journey. If you want to reach out, I'm more than happy to do so. And just, I love connecting with new people and helping where I can. So yeah, please do.
Amazing. Listen, Ben, thanks so much for coming on the show. Really appreciate it. And I look forward to speaking to you again, maybe in a year or even 6 months' time when you're further along and we've got, you know, some milestones to report. But in the meantime, have a great evening, and, you know, take care and all the best, Ben.